you're not expecting a team to hit 349 when they pass 1-7. And that's a real credit to the skill of their attackers. I thought we put a lot of pressure behind the service line, quite a few of our rotations, and just we're going after them with the, I think we're capable of being an elite serving team. I thought there were some rotations tonight that we were that against one of the best passing teams in the country. And when you're getting them passing whatever that number ended up being, 1718 or whatever that it was, I'm sure is one of their lowest ones, but that was a monster hitting percentage under those circumstances. I can't imagine, there being. I think Bergen is probably the best player in the conference. Her ability to continue to get them to get swings throughout the rallies. They did a great job of winning the long rallies. I thought we did a lot of good things tonight. But I felt like their defense kind of had us uncharacteristically our pace was moving a little bit faster than probably what a confident team is going to do, and their ability. Offensively, I mean, this is the most obvious thing ever, just when you're looking at the numbers, but this is the best offensive Nebraska team. And so even if you're able to score, their ability to side out pretty quick is pretty impressive. I thought Mimi started getting into some pretty good space there as the match went on. I thought Kristen here did a great job of balling out, and Natalie, I thought, really got on some really nice service runs. That was what we've seen in practice, and able to get it in and over and over and over again, and then defend around that, I thought was really, really special.
For Mimi, kind of what pressure does it put on that, or put on you, kind of from an attack, when it felt like, especially in that first set, you guys were getting some really good swings, but they seemed to be just kind of digging everything there?
Yeah, I think some of my swing choices weren't the best. That was a conversation going into the second, middle of the second, going into the third. I was hitting a lot of middle back, so I think just trying to really move the ball around, get into some better space. I think that got better as the third set went on, which that's a little late for that. But no, I think just the big thing was just to, have an attack mindset on all phases of the game. I think the first set we really, really saw that. Second set, not so much, and it just, wasn't enough. But I just think we tried to be really aggressive throughout. So going to my attacking, like my thought was just, I'm going to hit the ball. I hit it hard, so that was, if I could hit into some better spaces, I probably should have. But, I was just kind of trying to swing as hard as I could.
Dennis?
Kelly, you mentioned that that's the best offensive Nebraska team you've seen. Is that the best overall team that you've seen from Nebraska?
I don't know. It's you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. When you answer that kind of question, it's a really good team. It's really balanced and it's deep. All right, and they hold themselves with a swagger that they don't panic when you get a few points against them. I think Danny's done a great job of keeping them relaxed and but they've been through the wars, and you're going to have to sustain a really high level of play for 2 hours to give yourself a chance, and we did some good things tonight. We had one player that was in that match a year ago against those guys. So for it's just every match counts the same in the Big Ten, but the energy in the buildings are just different, right? I mean, it's whether it's here or on the road, there's a different type of juice in the building, and that was the first time for most of our players of experiencing what I think is the best rivalry in our sport, and we'll learn from it. We'll grow from it, and move forward. I mean, we've got an early morning flight tomorrow, so that's we've got to flush this and leave this in our rear view mirror pretty darn quick.
Olivia.
Kristen, felt like some of the digs that the other team was getting, you know, they were able to come back on offense really quickly after what would have been kills against other teams for you guys. How do you kind of flip the switch like that when you realize that the ball didn't touch the floor and get ready to defend again? Sorry.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that question.
Sorry, I rambled a bit. How do you, when they were able to keep the ball alive in a couple of those big plays where it looked like you guys were going to get the kill, how do you sort of get ready to defend their next hit when it doesn't look like you're going to have to?
Okay, yeah, I got it. I mean, obviously they're a great team. They're going to get their digs. It's just recollecting yourself and just going out swinging again, just finding ways to keep finding space on the court. And, I mean, it's just a mentality. You just got to keep playing and keeping the ball alive. Obviously, they're going to get their swings. We're going to get ours. So just keep going.
I'll say for me and Kristen, I know Kelly mentioned Natalie and what she did with her serves, but just for y'all on the court and when she provides those lifts where it's like, you know, a 4-point streak where a couple of them are aces, just what does that do for y'all on the court and what do you say to each other too when you're in that little huddle and trying to keep things going too?
Yeah, I think Nat's a little firecracker when she gets going. I think we all have so much trust in her to go back in there and, you know, put a good ball in. We do not like passing against her in practice. You know, she's one of our best servers. So it's been so fun to watch her grow in that area and just grow in her confidence when she gets back behind that service line. Again, like I said, like we just have the utmost confidence in her when she gets back there. And it's really exciting, you know, when she gets some of those aces, it's always going to be a good ball, but, you know, the aces make it a little more special. But yeah, she's such a firecracker for us. Good
Yeah.
energy, you know.
Yeah, just instilling trust in her and faith and knowing that, like, when she's back there, right, we've got her back. Like, we're going to keep this ball alive to keep her back there.
Along those lines, for Kelly, you kind of, I saw that you put Natalie in starting in that third set. Kind of when she's playing like the way that she's playing tonight, kind of how does that change maybe the calculus in terms of your lineup and kind of what can that give this team?
Well, I don't know if that changes our lineup. She came in there and got a couple blocks, and you know, she's able to do that. And Grace came in and took some great swings over on the left side. We've both teams have the ability. They've got a little bit more depth, and they're quite a bit healthier than where we are right now. But with that said, both teams have the ability of bringing some other people in to kind of give you a lift, and that doesn't mean that either team is all of a sudden just going to, you know, reinvent the wheel or throw things out. You know, when players come in off the bench and they do their job, that's what's expected, right?
Kelly, sticking with the Natalie theme, I mean, this was a match against her hometown team. I don't know what her mental state was going into this, but to see her perform and kind of have the match she did against maybe an opponent that had a little bit more meaning to her, what does that mean to you to see her rise to the occasion?
Yeah, I don't know. You know, if she's Nat always brings the juice. You know, she's. You know, we could be playing a YMCA team, and she's going to be pretty fired up to get out there and go. I think the one thing that you're a little bit worried about when you're playing people that you grew up, you know, right down the street looking up to and probably idolizing is that you get up there and the first 4 serves, you know, you served Eau Claire, and So she controlled her emotions and put in balls that we see every day in practice. I mean, what is crazy is that serve. It's also almost an indictment on the club system. I'm going down a road here, but she never served too much in club. Why? Because you get 3 feet of court behind the end line, where in college you get a little bit longer runway. So the first time we saw her serve, I was like, damn, I didn't know you had this. And she said, I didn't either. And, I'm sure she didn't, when she committed here, thinking she's going to be a serving specialist against the Huskers. Her freshman year would be on her bingo card, but here we are.
Kelly, I realize I'm asking this kind of moments after, but you said that you're going to learn a lot from this match. What do you think is maybe the biggest thing you take away from this experience?
I think we'll probably keep that in-house. It's, it's the thing that that's the best team in the country right now. And so if you have any aspirations of being in the ball game with that, then there's the gap. That's what it is, and that needs to drive you every day if you've got aspirations of going toe to toe with them at the end of the season, and they're the standard, right? And so what I want is players and teams, and typically we have that, is that sees that and enjoys that kind of challenge. That doesn't mean that we're going to be able to leap over that, right? Or that it's easier to say, here's the gap, and want to close it than it is actually closing it. Because I'm sure after the last couple of years, I'm sure those players are pretty motivated and driven as well. But that's the fun. I mean, that's the fun of getting to do what we get to do is, all right, there's the lead horse, and can you close the gap here? That's where we're at right now. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.